Weird World War II. Everyone loves a Weird World War with all those big, huge walking tanks and zombies and goblins. Well, maybe not the goblins, but we do have half-man, half-bat hybrids, and by golly gosh, that will have to do. Our war today is brought to you via Warlord Games. It's based upon the hugely popular bolt action system, and it's rather good. I can hear some of you already going, but it's World War II. World War II games are boring and historical and not fun and stuffy and take forever. Well, not this one. This is great fun. Literally all you need to start is one box of soldiers, some dice, a book, and bish bash bosh, you have yourself a playable force. I have been down to my local store and bought myself a German starter set. Firstly, we move on to the dreaded rulebook. Now this one is a smaller softback version of its larger brother, but is an exact scaled down duplicate, which you don't tend to get nowadays as of the costs and whatnot. So, points there. At the front of the book, we have the background and a well-developed storyline leading into gameplay and the main rules section of the book. And then moving on to the actual force construction at the back. In this book, you do have the Germans, you have the Americans and the Russians, so you can actually just create any force from the one book, which is bloody marvellous. And on the rear, we have Bolt Action, World War II War Games Rules, Konflikt 47. The year 1944. Atomic testing at Los Alamos opens a rift in the fabric of space, while the detonation of the Fat Boy atomic bomb over Dresden creates a second. German and American scientists determine that signals are being transmitted through the rifts. Many indecipherable, but some containing revolutionary scientific and technological theorems. Desperate for any military advantage, Germany and the US swiftly apply these discoveries to their war efforts, and incredible new weapons begin to appear on the battlefield. Angered by America's refusal to share the secrets of Rift tech, Stalin declares a war on the US and Britain, and the Allies are fractured. In the year 1947, World War II has entered a completely new phase. Power-armoured infantry armed with personal wonder weapons follow super heavy tanks and mechanised walkers into battle, smashing defences with colossal firepower, while genetic monstrosities are sent out to hunt and terrorise enemy forces. This is the new nature of war. This is Konflikt 47. The game itself revolves around a orders system which is implemented onto a die. This system works by placing a unique die, here's one I made earlier, into a bag. But first I'll show you the dice itself. We first go on to fire, which is obviously stand and shoot. We have rally, spend your unit's activation getting rid of pins. This allows them to pass their command test to see if they do anything. Ambush. If you have a sniper, for example, you can place him on ambush. If an enemy was to wander into his field of view, he can activate out of turn and take a pot at that chap. And then we go on to run, which is forgo all shooting in favour of full movement, which is 12 inches. Then we go on to advance. Advance, which is move 6 inches and fire. Simple as that. Then we have down. This makes the unit harder to shoot at as the soldiers hastily find any cover they can. We place this dice in a bag, and we have one for each unit on the field. So we put that in there. So instead of rolling for initiative, we take it in turns to draw from a bag. Say, for example, I was against a Russian player. He would put his hand into the bag and pull out an American die, and hands it over to the American to use. The die is then placed by any one unit and shows what the person intends to do with them that round. A very, very elegant mechanic which allows for a very simple, free-flowing game. On to a quick look at the combat. Putting the special abilities aside, If your chap wants to shoot at the other chap over on the other side of the field, it comes down to this simple rail of rules. You start at 3. Did I move? Yes, +1. Is he under half range? No, +1. Is he in cover? No, then no modifier for cover. This results in a 5+ to hit. It is that darn simple. I have walked down to my local game store to ask the opinion of Alan from Questing Night Games a few questions about Konflikt 47. Good morning, Alan. Firstly, why do you play Konflikt 47?
Why do I play Konflikt 47? Well, basically because I find that it's a really cool game with lots of nice miniatures in it. It's got an excellent theme to it as well of being 1947 and the war isn't over yet. So it gives us some really cool things that we can do with the models, the whole theme of the game. I love the background, and I think it's got a real cool future to it as well.
What makes Konflikt 47 so special?
What makes it special from other games of its own genre?
Yes, different from every other game.
Okay. I think basically, again, it's the strength of the product. With Warlord Games behind it, it's going to have a really good future. The guys who are actually writing it from Clockwork Goblin have a plan. They know where it's going. We know that there's going to be good books coming out for things like the Japanese army, the Italian army, and I think that makes it a strong product, that there's a future for the investor who's going to buy the product.
Talking about the investor, how easy is this to pick up as a beginner?
Oh, it's very easy indeed. Rules wise, the rules are pretty straightforward. You can get into a game quite easily once you read the rule book. The rule book, the only criticism I would have of the rule book is it needs an index in it. It doesn't have one. That at times makes it a little bit of hard work to find out where things are. Once you're past that, rules are well written, they're self-explanatory. Box sets, got everything you need to play in them. They're ranging from around about 800 to 1,000 points, so you've got a starter army in a box with the rule book ready to go.
And what size game will we be playing today?
Today we'll be playing approximately 500 points, give or take, and we'll just be showcasing some of the special units in the game, and they're going to be working alongside some of the existing World War II units. That's another great thing with this game, is you can have all your traditional World War II units in there alongside the weird stuff.
So you're not taking anything away from the veteran players at all?
No, the guy who likes the traditional World War II war game can identify with everything that's on the tables. He can see his Sherman tanks, his Panther tanks, his German Grenadiers, British infantry. They're all there. They're all fighting alongside this new innovative technologies that are out there.
Smashing. And what size table can this be played on? Is it scalable at all?
Oh yeah, I mean basically we'll be playing today a quick game on a 4x4. Depending which army you're playing, you can easily play on a 4x4 at home, or you could go up to a 6x4 if you wanted to and play a good 1,000 points, 1,500 points, up to 2,000 on a 6x4.
So it leans towards a large level / amount of units on the table because of the dice system?
Yeah, the dice system that's used in the game, again, is something that's come across from Bolt Action. You draw a dice out the bag, which we'll see in the videos later on. That gives you a dice with 6 orders on it. You choose one of those orders, put it onto the unit then carries out that order that's been assigned.
Smashing, thank you very much indeed for your comments. And that was Alan from Initiative 17 at Questing Night Games.